He was named Travis, a name that conjures images of playfulness and companionship. Born in the wild, his life took a sharp turn when he was ripped from his mother's side at just 3 days old. His destination, the human world, a place he was never meant to inhabit. He became the adopted son of Sandra Harold, a resident of Stamford, Connecticut. Little did anyone know that this seemingly harmless act of human affection would set in motion a chain of events with devastating consequences. Travis's early years were a confusing blend of the natural and the unnatural. He ate at the table, slept in a bed, and even went shopping with Sandra. He rode in trucks, drank wine from stemmed glasses, and became a local celebrity. To the outside world, he was a charming oddity, a testament to the seemingly boundless adaptability of nature. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. A storm rooted in the undeniable truth that Travis, despite years of humanization, was still a wild animal at heart. But before we continue in this chilling and sad story, remember to subscribe to the channel if you are into creepy-looking scary stories. And don't be afraid to leave us a like and write in the comments if you already knew this story. We also take advice, my friend. Sandra showered Travis with love and affection. He was her constant companion, her surrogate son. They shared a bond that many found heartwarming, even enviable. Travis, in his own way, seemed to reciprocate her feelings. He was affectionate, often showering Sandra with hugs and kisses. He learned to recognize himself in the mirror, a sign of self-awareness rarely seen in animals. Their days were filled with unorthodox routines. Travis helped Sandra with chores, mimicking her actions with an almost childlike eagerness. He even learned to use a computer and open doors with keys. He became a familiar face around town, accompanying Sandra on errands and delighting locals with his human-like antics. The line between pet and child blurred, and for a while the illusion of domesticity held. But the wildness within Travis, though suppressed, was far from extinguished. It lurked beneath the surface, a ticking time bomb waiting for the moment to explode. February 16, 2009, dawned like any other day in Sandra's home. Travis was in a playful mood, his usual exuberance filling the house. But that afternoon, the laughter died, replaced by blood-curdling screams. Charla Nash, a friend of Sandra's, had arrived for a visit. Travis, familiar with Charla, had always been friendly towards her, but on this day something was different. As Charla stepped out of her car, Travis, in a sudden and terrifying outburst of aggression, lunged. The attack was brutal, relentless. Travis, with his immense strength, inflicted horrific injuries on Charla. Sandra, witnessing the horror unfold before her eyes, desperately tried to pull Travis off her friend. She even struck him repeatedly with a shovel, a desperate act of a mother trying to save her child's victim. But Travis was undeterred. His primal instincts, ignited, had taken over. The sound of sirens pierced the air, shattering the eerie silence that had descended upon the neighborhood. Police arrived to a scene of unimaginable horror. Charla, barely clinging to life, was rushed to the hospital. Travis, still agitated and dangerous, remained at large. Fear gripped the community as police, armed with tranquilizer guns, stalked the streets, searching for the escaped ape. After what felt like an eternity, Travis was located, cornered, and alone, his body riddled with bullet wounds. He had succumbed to his injuries, his life tragically intertwined with the woman he had so savagely attacked. The community breathed a collective sigh of relief, but it was a relief tinged with sadness. Travis, the playful ape who had captured their hearts, was gone, a victim of his own primal instincts and the misguided love of a human mother. The attack on Charla Nash sent shockwaves throughout the nation. Newspapers ran headlines of the horror in Connecticut, and television screens were dominated by images of Charla's injuries and the chilling 911 calls made during the attack. The public was horrified, struggling to comprehend how a beloved pet could transform into a savage beast. The incident ignited a fierce debate about the ethics of keeping wild animals as pets. Animal rights activists, long advocating against the practice, pointed to Travis's story as a tragic but predictable example of the dangers inherent in denying wild animals their natural habitats and instincts. Lawmakers, spurred by public outcry, began drafting legislation to ban or restrict the private ownership of exotic animals. The attack on Charla Nash was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of wild animals, even those raised in the most loving and domesticated environments. The Wild Within. Travis's story is a tragic illustration of the indomitable nature of wild instincts. Despite years of living as a human, of adopting human habits and seemingly understanding human emotions, Travis remained, at his core, a wild animal. His attack on Charla was not an act of malice, but rather a manifestation of his innate, untamed nature. We cannot erase millions of years of evolution, of survival instincts honed in the unforgiving crucible of the wild. Wild animals are not wired for domesticity. Their behaviors are not governed by human morals or societal norms. They react instinctively, driven by deep-seated urges and impulses that we may never fully comprehend. And when those instincts take over, the consequences can be devastating. A matter of welfare. Keeping wild animals as pets is not just dangerous, it is inherently cruel. Confining animals like Travis to human environments deprives them of the opportunity to engage in natural behaviors. It denies them the social structures, the physical challenges, and the mental stimulation that are vital to their physical and psychological well-being. A life in captivity, no matter how luxurious or loving, is a pale imitation of the life they were meant to live. Imagine a bird, its wings clipped, confined to a cage, unable to soar through the open sky. Imagine a lion, its spirit broken, pacing endlessly in a concrete enclosure, its roars echoing unheard in the vastness of its artificial habitat. This is the reality for countless wild animals kept as pets, their wildness suppressed, their spirits slowly extinguished. A plea for the wild. Travis's story is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the respect we owe to the wild. We must resist the urge to impose our will on nature, to bend wild animals to our desires. Their place is not in our homes, but in the wild, where they can truly thrive. Let us admire their beauty, their power, and their untamed spirits from a distance, allowing them to live as nature intended. Let us support organizations dedicated to protecting wild animals and their habitats. Let us educate ourselves and others about the ethical implications of keeping wild animals as pets. Let us choose compassion over captivity, respect over exploitation. Where they belong. The tragic tale of Travis the Chimp is a story that should never be repeated. It is a story that underscores the importance of respecting the boundaries between humans and wild animals. It is a story that calls for a world where wild animals are allowed to roam free, their spirits unbroken, their wildness celebrated, in the only place they truly belong. The wild.